Hey there, pre-calc. We're going to take care of the second half here. We're going to solve exponential equations. That means we have an exponent, right? And what happens is the variable is in the exponent. So normally, right, if we had 2 to what power gives me 8, yeah, we can figure that out because 2 cubed gives me 8. But these are a little bit different. So we're going to have to just solve them a little bit different. Yeah, all right, so if the variable is in the exponent, again, if the bases can be made the same, we'll do that. I don't think there's any nice integer number that takes me from 3 to what power gives me 11. And it's more than 2, right? Because 3 squared is going to be 9. So we have an idea of where it should be, but not exactly what's going to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the natural log of both sides. Why is that? Because if I have the natural log of 3 to the x, this x gets to come down, right? That's our power property to bring the exponent down. So it's x natural log of 3 equals the natural log of 11. These are being multiplied. Just divide by the natural log of 3. All right, so we're going to take the natural log of 11 and divide it by, so get a close parentheses or just hit enter. So natural log 11, enter, divided by natural log of 3. Make sure you're using the calculator right. I had 2.183 gives me my x value. All right, now if we talked in algebra 2 about this, I said, well, if it's a number, we can use log. You can even use log base 3 and then use change of base. I won't get into a big deal about that. But upon reflecting on that, I said, why don't we just always use the natural log? That way, if the base is e, you don't have to worry about doing something different. So here I'm going to use the natural log. So the natural log of e becomes 1. So I get 2x equals the natural log of 15. So we're going to take the natural log of 15 and divide it by 2. So x is going to turn out to be natural log of 15, and we're going to be about 1.354. Again, just trying to give you an idea if you're using your calculator correctly. So still not too bad. We had the division there. So again, this is 6.7. So it really doesn't matter what it is. We're just going to use the natural log of both sides. All right, and then I'm going to have x minus 2. So what I might show here is natural log of 42 divided by the natural log of 6.7. And then eventually we're going to add 2 to that. So what we should be able to do is drive all of it on the calculator and then finally give a final answer. Okay, so I'm at 1.965 so far, and then plus 2. All right, so 3.965. It's a 0 after that. Do like to use 3 decimal places with logs and natural logs. Just makes it a little bit easier to deal with. Now, the only catch is all the extra stuff we had to do was in the exponent so far. Right, divide by 2, add 2, whatever it is. Now, in this one, we have extra stuff going on. So what I'm going to do is add the 1. So I'm going to make this 12. And then I'm going to divide by 2 to make that 6. So e to the x power equals 6. So we're going to do the natural log. And x will be whatever that turns out to be, the natural log of 6. And we got 1.792 if we round appropriately. So getting that base and its exponent alone is something that we want to do. And you've been doing that before anyway, right? When it was square root or whatever else was happening. All right, so another one of those, we're going to divide by 5. So this is going to be 12. So 3 to what power gives me 12? Well, you know, it was really close, right? We can think of a multiple, but remember, this isn't multiple. This is about powers. So natural log, natural log. So we're going to divide by that natural log of 3. So natural log 12 divided by natural log 3. Let's get you an answer here so you can keep double checking. 2.262. 1/8 is going to round there. All right, and here we're going to divide by this 20, right? I want to get that by itself. I don't know why we're at 12 there. That's crazy. All right, so that's 1/4 equals 1/2 to the x over 3. So there's a chance we could try and deal with that one by saying it's squared, but let's just work with that. Only thing I might do just to make it easier to input everything is I might say 0.5 to the x over 3 equals 0.25. That way when I introduce my natural logs, it's a little bit easier to do that. So natural log 0.5, we're going to divide that out. And then eventually I'm going to multiply that by 3 because that was x over 3. So we're going to multiply by 3 on both sides. So natural log 0.25, we're going to divide it by the natural log of 0.5. That's going to be plain old 2. We knew this was going to work out, so times 3x equals 6 in the end, right? So that one we could have used the same base. So we get a couple here. Eventually I'm going to pause this and then I'll put some answers back in. So give those a try so that you know what you're doing with any of those. And then I do have another section, so I'm going to pause that if you want to, or you can skip over and come back to it. Then we're going to mix these up a little bit. And the top is exactly what we're dealing with. Remember, the idea is the variable is in the exponent. So that means we're going to have to use the natural log at some point. Okay, this one is ready for it already. And divide by the natural log 2. Okay, so we can get rid of that. And then eventually add 4 to that answer. So let's get this one while we're here. Divided by natural log 2 and plus 4. Why did I do that on the calculator? I don't know. It's so embarrassing. All right, 10.359. All right, over here, remember we're going to subtract the 1, so we're at negative 20. We're going to divide it by negative 2, which is a good thing because we would have had quite a mess there. So that's 10. And since it's already e to the 2x, notice I'm leaving a lot of space here because I know I want to squeeze the natural log in there. So natural log of 10 and divided by 2. So we'll get to our final answer. So if you're in pre-calc, like, you're pretty good at solving equations anyway. So you're going to find this a little bit fun. It's all right. I won't tell your friends that you think solving equations is fun. It just gives you kind of another layer, another avenue, if you will. All right, our last video, we were dealing with log of x. Right, so this is all based on where the variable is at. Right, if it's in the exponent, we're going to use the log. If it's a log of x, eventually, right, we're going to add 7. So I'm going to make this 11. You're going to draw a box on it. So you're like, okay, so I can change it out. So this is e to the 11th equals x plus 3. So we're going to do e to the 11th and then take 3 away from that. So we can get rid of those. So second function with the natural log 11th power, and then we're going to minus 3. So here we go. X should be somewhere around 5,980. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 59,871.14. I'm going to break my rule and go to 2 decimal points because this one is rather large. I remember, so the natural log, the base was e. When there is no base, this is common logarithm. So this is 10 to the 5th power equals x. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that's 100,000. We don't need a calculator for that at all. And we'll be okay. All right, so working both of those 2 different ways. All right, so now that we have a little bit of understanding there, the next thing we can do is use the same concept here. Remember, I can't make the bases the same. That would have made this a whole lot easier. So I'm going to use the natural log of both sides. And that gives me x natural log of 5 equals 3 minus x times the natural log of 12. Let me add some parentheses. So we understand that these things are being multiplied. You can work with this pretty much any way you want. I can get a decimal value here and multiply by x. I could do the same thing, distribute there. You just have to be careful with all the decimals as we start to move things around. So one thing that I like to do, and this is just a personal preference, is if I have a binomial here, I'm just going to get rid of the natural log of 12. So I'm going to take this natural log of 5, and I'm going to divide it by the natural log of 12. So this becomes 0.648x equals 3 minus x. Just that way I don't have these messy decimals on both sides. So my personal preference is to divide one side or the other so we can work with it. So what would I do next? I would add 1x. So this is going to be 1.648x equals 3, and then divide by that 1.648. Okay, so sorry, that got a little bit messy under there. All right, so I'm going to do plus 1. And then underneath there, let's do 3 divided by that answer. Okay, so x, if I typed everything in correctly, it becomes 1.821. All right, so sure, you can distribute. All right, quick rehash here. You can distribute and just deal with it as a decimal on both sides because you're going to multiply these together. I just want to show you that avenue. So it speeds up the steps a little bit. All right, so what are we going to have here? We're going to have 2x plus 3 times the natural log of 2 equals 3x times the natural log of 3. All right, so getting the idea of what I did last time, my preference is going to be divided by the natural log of 2, because I can do this, and then times 3, and then I'm going to have that number x, right? So here we go, natural log of 3 divided by natural log of 2 times 3. So that just makes it a little bit easier to work with, in my opinion. I think there's something about that on the internet, in my opinion. IMP? I don't know. I don't know. I'm old. I don't know what that means. All right, let's subtract 2x. But hopefully, my opinion means something. You're still watching the video, so let's divide by 2.755, 2.755. All right, so here we go. We got, we need what? What do we need? We need 3 divided by that, right? 3 divided by second answer. So you want to get really slick with your calculator. I'll show you that in class. I don't want this video to go drone on too long. Okay, but we have this feature where you can use the second function. Often it's around the negative sign. It says ANS. So answer, it memorizes that last thing that you had in there. So we can show that to you then. All right, last one we have. All right, and this is something we should have talked about, but I just want to remind you because we're talking about where the variable is. Variable, it can be in the exponent. That was our focus today. It could be the log of a variable. So we got to change both of those into the other format. Just remember, if the variable is the base here, we're just going to use the reciprocal power. So 5/3, 5/3. So on calculator type, we're going to say 8 caret parentheses 5 divided by 3 close parentheses, and then we'll get our answer here, which should be like 32, right? Because we're doing the cube root of 8 gets you to 2 to the 5th. So here we go. Let me just double check. All right, x equals 32. I'd hate to get stuff wrong in front of you, but we all make mistakes, so that's all right. That's going to happen. All right, so that's what we can do. Hey, if you have me for class, and this is a chunk of the homework here, I don't know if we're going to add anything else to it. Kind of covers everything we're doing, including those variables on both sides. So just be careful with those, and if you need a little more space, just scroll around. We have it. All right. Hey, thanks for tuning in, even if you didn't have to. If you're in my class, you totally have to, and tell your friends they should too. All right? Peace.